Welcome to the program. I'm your host, Neil Howard, here on Health Professional Radio. Thank you for joining us for another segment. We're joined this morning by Leukemia and Lymphoma Society President and CEO, Dr. DeGennaro. He's joined by Valerie Fiordilino Maslow. She's a multiple sclerosis patient who's benefiting from a leukemia therapy. And they're joining us to talk about how advances in blood cancer research and treatment are able to cross boundaries to treat other cancers and diseases to basically save lives. Welcome to the program.
Thanks for having us.
Good morning, Neil.
Doctor, could you give us a brief background? What is your experience with cancer?
Mm-hmm. So my organization, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, we're laser focused on finding treatments for patients who suffer from the hematological malignancies, the blood cancers, leukemia, lymphoma, multiple myeloma. It's actually a host of 140 different diseases. Mm-hmm. And we've been very successful there, but what we've seen over the years is that many of the treatments we've developed for the blood cancers are paying benefit for patients with other forms of cancer.
Okay.
I'll give you an example of that. CAR T therapy, immunotherapy, approved last year by the FDA for leukemia and lymphoma, is now being tested in breast cancer, colon cancer, prostate cancer, ovarian cancer. I don't have a crystal ball to know whether it's going to work for all of those kinds of cancers, but my bet is it's going to work for some of them.
Multiple sclerosis. What is that disease? Is it a type of cancer?
No, so it's a disease of the central nervous system. Mm-hmm. So it's where the immune system actually is dysregulated, and the immune system attacks the brain and the spinal cord. It creates these abnormal plaques that essentially eat away at the protective barrier to nerves, which are called myelin. Mm-hmm. And when it deteriorates that myelin to the deeper level, it can cause significant nerve dysfunction and even paralysis, damage, blindness. I mean, it's a variety of different things that it could debilitate in a person.
Doctor, traditionally, how is leukemia treated?
Well, gosh, it goes all the way back to the earliest days of the development of chemotherapy. The first chemotherapy drugs were developed for children with leukemia, but we've come very, very far since then. Mm-hmm. Just in the last 2.5 years alone, the FDA has approved 51 new treatments for the blood cancers, and these range from treatments that are like immunotherapy, the one I mentioned earlier, to gene-targeted treatments where the drug attacks the bad-acting gene and leaves the good cells of the body alone so that patients are not suffering the debilitating side effects normally associated with chemotherapy.
Valerie, which of the treatments are you currently benefiting from?
So I received an infusion. It's an antibody therapy. Mm-hmm. So it's not a chemo, not a poison, but it basically attaches to my immune system to deplete the cells that are overproduced in my MS. And in doing that, it essentially turns off the switch that basically creates the damage of this disease. So it works. Initially, it was used for blood cancer. In a similar fashion, it worked by kind of depleting the abnormal cells that fueled the lymphoma patients. Mm-hmm. But for my instance, it helps to control the abnormal cells that attack my own immune system in the central nervous system. It's pretty remarkable.
Doctor, are these antibodies that are attaching themselves, are they a one and done thing, or does Valerie's immune system start to generate its own medicine?
Yeah, in this case, Valerie has already had several infusions of this monoclonal antibody. Mm-hmm. With any luck, she won't need any future ones. But this is not the CAR T style of therapy where it's self-renewing within the body. Mm-hmm. This treatment is, the antibody latches onto a protein that's on the surface of the bad-acting immune cells and triggers their destruction. And as long as they're kept at bay and don't return, she shouldn't need another treatment.
Are there any dormant antibodies lying around just waiting for something to attack, or are they specific to these type of malfunctioning cells?
Yeah, in this case, the treatment is given, it's in the body for a period of time, and then it would wash out, essentially. It's not the distinction we want to make here, the CAR-T immunotherapy that's been in the news so much lately. These are genetically engineered cells that persist in the body and provide surveillance for the cancer patients, the leukemia and lymphoma patients. And we actually don't know how long, what the durability of that surveillance will be. I think that the first child that was ever treated this way is now out about 11 or 12 years and still has these genetically modified cancer-fighting cells in her body. So it's more work to be done to see really how long it lasts. In the case of Valerie, she may need treatment again and would have to have another infusion.
Valerie, you said that it's not chemo, it's nothing like that. What about some of the effects as your therapy is working for you? What are some of the negative side effects, if any?
Initially the negative was that it was an infusion, so I had to take off work, which I don't like having to take off work. To have to instead of taking a pill or an injection, it was just the inconvenience of having an infusion. But the benefit of that certainly well outweighs that minor interruption in my life. The fact that I may not have to be on any other medication for the rest of my life is really well worth it.
Dr. DeGennaro and Valerie Fiordilino Maslow, thank you both for joining us here today.
Thank you so much for having us.
Doctor, before you and Valerie leave, we'd like to get a website where we can get some more information about the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
Certainly. Our website is lls.org, lls.org.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Neil. Good day.
Thanks so much.
You've been listening to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neil Howard. Transcripts and audio of this program are available at hpr.fm and healthprofessionalradio.com.au.